I've got a dilemma.
Good evening, everyone. We are live for the first time in this brand new year. Donovan's got a dilemma, as always.
I do. It's like, okay, so it's like 26 minutes to 8 o'clock. All the takeaway places and Uber Eats closes at 8 o'clock. Do I like order now? Because I'm going to have to use like a lot of time. But then it'll probably arrive while we're still doing this, and I'm going to get up halfway through and go get the food. Or I'll starve to death. Which one should I do?
Starve to death. Definitely starve to death.
All right, fine. I'm starving just for you, Rob.
Good man. That's what I want to hear. We've got a very special show as everyone tunes in. Luca Jefferson, Jason Buerta, Gareth O'Bailey, Stephen LaRue, Trisha Moorman, Carl Pino, Bronwyn Holmes, Mark Wilson, Godfrey Rodemeyer, Carl Swanson, Wesley Eric Smith, Carmen Fisher, Richard Walker, Richard Potgieter, Mitchell Muller. There's a lot of people joining in. Hello and welcome, everyone. For something, it's been a tough time of late, we know that, but this is really going to brighten up certainly the beginning of 2021 and hopefully brighten up the rest of your 2021. Sean Portman joins in, Greg Ferreira. How's it, Rob and Don, the man from BMW Westrand Motorrad? If you're in the market for a BMW, there's no better dealer than BMW Westrand, so get hold of them. Ryan Esmond, Duncan Fenter, Menno Havinar, Tracy Lee Funny Cat, Craig Hicks, so a lot of people joining in. And why you are all joining in, I'm pretty sure, is to see me and Donovan.
Yeah,
and that's it. Why else would you join in? We kind of conned you telling you we had these other two guys, but it's actually just me.
We've got these other guys who want to join, but we're not entirely sure if we should. I mean,
well, we just
for 2 hours.
We just spoke to one of the guys, and he said he's had enough of us for one day because we've literally spent just about the entire day with him.
Listen, I spent time with their Parrot. Look on my Facebook now. That Parrot is better than they are. Definitely, it's the coolest thing ever.
That T-Rex they call a dog.
That thing is huge. Jeez, like the Disney bears would run away from that thing.
So we had an awesome day. Donovan did some filming for the bike show, so look out for that interview. Don, when will that be aired, or on your YouTube or whatever?
How the hell should I know? Jeez, like.
Yeah. Okay, that's useless information once again from Donovan Free. But look out on the bike show. Just watch the bike show, and it'll come on one day. Nice interview you did with Brad and Daz at their house, and the Parrot. I think the dog made an appearance as well. I know the maid made an appearance, or the domestic worker in the background. Yeah. She made an appearance. That was indeed the highlight of the show. Okay, so before we start, we've got some beautiful HJC face masks, which are signed by Brad Binder himself. So how you can win one of those HJC masks is like, obviously, the post that you're busy watching now, but please share this live feed across everywhere. Just go mad with us and just say, thank you, Motor Rider World, for bringing us the Binder Brothers live. So share it and say that, and you could win one of these HJC masks. I will select a winner, a couple of winners, and I'll get hold of you, and I'll send your mask to you. So that's how you can do it. Share this post and say, thank you, Motor Rider World, for bringing the Binder Brothers live. So without further ado, we're going to start with the, I'd say the better of the two brothers. Don, would you agree with me?
Oh, completely.
Of course you would, because you did a beautiful article on this man in the latest digital issue of Motor Rider World, digital issue number 5. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the fantastic, the very fast, the rock star that is Mr. Darryn Binder.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Daz, how you doing, bud? As a Mozzie just flies in front of
all good, thanks, and you?
Like, we've got big Mozzies here in Boxburg. Dude, we had an awesome day with you. Exciting times in the life of Darryn Binder. How has your 2021 been so far? You've been back in South Africa for a while. What you been doing other than stealing the hearts of young, beautiful women?
Yeah, I mean, it's been super nice to be home. I really enjoyed December. I managed to do Sani to see when I got home. That was basically the highlight of my December, so that was really cool. And yeah, since then I took some time off, took a little bit of chill time, and yeah, I just enjoyed a little bit of family time at home and that. And I mean, yeah, 2021 started now, and back to training and riding here as much as possible.
I've got Mark Freeman. Everyone knows Mark Freeman because he supports just about everything. So he's asked me to tell his daughter, Nikita, wants to say hello to you because apparently she's had a crush on you since birth or something. So I don't know what it is with girls that like guys with long hair. Like, I don't know. You said you were going to get your hair cut today. While you were contemplating it, I see that never
I
materialized.
was, but I never made it there. I'm not gonna cut it. I'm gonna trim it. Just little bits.
Split ends.
Yeah, just
Now,
the dead ends. That's it.
talk to us. How excited are you feeling? I mean, I'm feeling very excited. You've been with the KTM brand. You've been with Green Power team for a while now. You're stepping into the Petronas Honda team for 2021. A proper good team. A level up from where you've been. I heard you telling
they've got a Moto2 team and they've got a MotoGP team.
Yeah.
What we're talking to right now, I mean, he's nearly as good as the great Brad Binder, but we're talking to Valentino Rossi's teammate.
Basically, is what we're talking to. Is
Yeah.
Valentino Rossi's teammate. How do you think the whole team vibe and potentially jumping on this Honda is going to help you in 2021?
Well, first off, Rossi's my teammate.
Yeah, obviously.
Good man.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm really looking forward to the season. I mean, Petronas really have a good team. I mean, they've shown in all three classes what they're capable of doing. And to be a part of a team that has those stepping stones all the way to MotoGP, I mean, that's really, really something that was important to me. And yeah, I mean, I had a good year last year. I mean, I felt like I finished quite well. I mean, it was the best year I'd had so far in World Championships. So, yeah, I really just want to build on that. I mean, try to be as consistent as possible, fix those things that I struggled with last year, like the qualifying, and I made one or two mistakes in the races where I crashed out. So, yeah, I mean, consistency is definitely key. And I think if I can finish in the top 5 in all the races and, on the days when it's going good, take the wins, and when it's not going good, be in the top 5. And I'm sure by the end of the season, I'll be able to fight for a world championship. I mean, that's always a goal.
Just looking there, okay, it's disappeared. I didn't see a ray or something. He said, Rossi must be stoked.
You better be.
Good man. I like your confidence, Daz. I love your confidence.
Oh, jeez.
This Petronas team, now you haven't had any you haven't actually ridden the bike, or have you had any sort of experience with them at all since you've technically only joined the team 1st of January, but has there been any sort of contact with them or anything you've done with them? And I don't think you've ridden the bike yet.
No, unfortunately, we didn't get to test. I mean, at the end of last year, everyone was so over it. We had so many races back to back and that everyone was tired and just wanted to go home. So we didn't do any testing after the year. So I haven't ridden the bike yet. But I mean, throughout the year, we had little meetings, where I'd either go to their box or we'd meet in one of the trailers with like my side of the team. And we'd sit and chat and get to know everybody and just chill, just so, and then you've met, and then when you see each other in the paddock, every time you see each other, you stop, say hello, chat a bit, and super cool guys. I'm really looking forward to this season, and I really can't wait to jump on the Honda. I mean, it's been a long December, and unfortunately, it looks like it might even be a little bit longer.
Well, we just heard that a whole lot of the testing was cancelled. I mean, when our Moto3 is going to be able to test again?
So for us, we have like 7 days of private testing that we allowed for the year. So normally we use about a good 4 or 5 of those days before the official test start. So we had two private days of testing planned for the 24th and 25th of February in Valencia. And unfortunately, they canceled that like 2 days ago already. So super bummed with that. But as of right now, we should still be getting on the bike on the 3rd and 4th of March in Portimao if everything goes to plan. That's another private test for us. And I mean, Jerez is the first official test. I think it's 3 days, and then we go to Qatar normally for 3 days as well. But right now I'm just playing it by ear. Unfortunately, COVID's got the whole world on a little bit of a hold.
Now, the Honda itself, okay, you haven't ridden it, but I mean, you've ridden with it up until this point. I think you've mostly ridden KTMs. Just from what you can tell, riding with them, what is the sort of big difference between the KTM and the Honda?
Obviously, feeling-wise, I couldn't say because I haven't ridden it yet. But riding behind them, I feel like they have quite a lot more torque than a KTM, which I think will really benefit me being one of the heavier riders in Moto3. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. But I mean, yeah, from chatting to the guys, I mean, John, he went from a KTM to a Honda. You know, he actually stepped from CIP into Petronas. So yeah, they say the front end's a little bit different, you know, but I mean, obviously once you've set your bike up and you're happy with it, you at the end of the day, it's still a motorcycle, and you just ride it as hard as you can. But yeah, I mean, that thing really, last year the bikes were very close, so I think I'm hoping that it just suits me a little bit better, and that I can make a little step forward.
Are they changing the bikes a lot I don't know, MotoGP and all that change the bike? What's the rules in Moto3? Are they introducing a new bike and making changes?
As far as I know, that because of the COVID and stuff in 2020, they stopped all development in the Moto3 class, as far as I know. I could be wrong. Don't take my exact word for it. But yeah, the frames are staying the same. So like it'll be a 2020 KTM and a 2020 Honda this year in 2021. But obviously, throughout the year, the rules are that you're allowed so many updates, and depending on what, like you're allowed an engine update or whatever update. So I'm sure that there will be updates throughout the year, but not a complete new bike as far as I know.
Come on, Rob.
Daz, I want to ask you, so for the last couple of years, obviously in the Green Power team, you were pretty much the number one rider. I mean, you've had semi-frost teammates, but none that really ran anywhere close to where you were running. You're moving into a team now where you've got John McPhee, who's won with this team on that Honda bike. How do things change with that now, looking over at the box and seeing someone that's, you're going to be racing with at the front on the same bike as you, in the same team as you? I mean, is it a case of, I don't know what your kind of relationship with John, but is it going to be a case of, let's use data where I'm suffering, I'll help you, you help me? Or is it a case of, we're teammates, but it's you go out and, best man wins type thing? And what kind of, is it added pressure, or do you look at it as like, that's what I need? I think I need that push to have a teammate on the same bike pushing me and me wanting to beat him, rather than your teammate miles back and you're the only guy at the front in that team.
Yeah, so I think it's a really, really positive thing. I was actually really pushing for them to keep John for this year, because obviously I've known John for a lot of years now, and he's a really cool guy. We get along quite well. And for me, it's very positive because we can work together. And that was also like in those meetings that we had last year where I met the team, and that I also met John's side, and obviously John was in the meeting. And it was a big thing for us, is they really want us to work together, and that's exactly what I want as well. Because, I mean, having a fast teammate, if we can go out there, I do 2 laps in front, he does 2 laps in front, just give the guy a bit of a tow, he gives me a tow. Then we don't have to mess around in qualifying and that and look for those groups and stuff. We can just work together, and that'll really benefit both of us. And then when it comes down to the race, I mean, it's just a race is a race. May the best man win, and whatever happens, happens. And I even tried, like, during 2020, a couple of times, John and I sat down and we made a bit of a plan. We went to his box, spoke to his crew chief, went to mine and spoke to my crew chief, because obviously he had been in that team before as well, so they knew him. And we try to make plans like, okay, we do 4-lap run, come in, 5 minutes in the box. At this time we go out, we try to work together. But the problem is, when you're so far apart in the boxes and stuff, it gets tricky, and let's say I have a problem. I come in and they need to change linkage, or they want to try a different headstock or something. Then you can't stick to that plan. So, I mean, we did try it once or twice, and it did work a couple of times, but it was really difficult not being in the same box. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a really good thing to work with him this year, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I think it's also nice, let's say in the race, if we both in the front, maybe we can control the race a little bit, maybe come up with a bit of a game plan or something. But I'm really looking forward to it, and I think it's actually one of the first times I'm going to have somebody that I can work with. So I'm really, really stoked.
I was going to say, Shane, your teammate from last year, I mean, okay, you finished, I think, what was it, 8th with 1 million points or something. He didn't score a single point and finished in 30th. And I mean, this should help, especially towards the end of the season, if one of you are still in the championship hunt. I mean, that's going to be a big thing.
100%. I mean, unfortunately, last year it was my teammate was a rookie, so it was his first season, and it was a tough one for him. So like I try to help him as much as I could. I was more than happy to let him follow me, but unfortunately, I think the gap was a little bit big there, so we weren't able to help each other too much. But yeah, a really cool guy, and I wish him all the best for this year as well. He's staying in the same place, so yeah, I think also if it comes down to like a championship and you have a teammate and he's not in it or whatever, a little bit of help's never a bad thing.
How old is John McPhee now? Isn't he like 93 years old or something? He's the oldest guy in the paddock. He's the oldest guy in the team, Moto3 paddock, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he must be. He's probably 26 this year, maybe. Yeah, he's been around a while.
I think the cutoff for Moto3 is 27 or something, isn't it?
Yeah, 27, 28, one of either or.
Now, I want to ask you, Daz, one of your strong points, or your biggest strong point on the KTM was that, the dive bombing, the late braking, hard on the front. Do you think that's going to translate over to the Honda? Do you think you're going to be able to make, I know you said it all depends on setup and that, but I really think that was a strong point of the KTM chassis. But is that something you and the team have already spoken about? Like, let's try and work on our positives here, which is get that front end dialed in.
Yeah, I think definitely one of the things that I had really set up well on the KTM was the front end, and I really used it. But that is definitely how you had to ride that bike. I mean, that's what they said. You need to hammer that thing as hard as you can into a corner, get it stopped, turn it, and get out of the corner. If you don't brake hard, they don't turn. So, I really try to capitalize on that point, because I knew that was a strong point on that bike. So, yeah, they've definitely said that the Honda is different, that the front end isn't as good as the KTM. But saying that, when I spoke to the guys, they didn't say anything like specific. They're like, okay, when you get on the bike, you're going to ride it, and then we'll see, and we'll work from there, and I'm just going to have to adapt to it as I go along, which is what it is. So, I mean, they've got, because it's the same bike as last year, they've got a lot of data. They've got a good base where John was at and whatever. So, we've got a good starting point already, and we just work from there and find what works best for me. And I mean, I've always ridden. I always liked setting my bike up that I have really good feeling in the front. I feel like if you can brake late, you can be fast. So I'll definitely try set it up towards that way.
Well, a lot of people have been commenting on you for this season. I mean, not just us. I'll see there were a few overseas. A few overseas stories also, like someone to watch, all of that. Now, I mean, this season you scored more than double the points you did. Well, okay, 2020 season you scored more than double the points you scored in 2019, and all of the points in all the seasons before that combined. I mean, what was different about 2020? I know we did speak to you during 2020, during the year and that, but looking back to it, what made 2020 different compared to all the others?
Yeah, I think it was a whole lot of things combined, really. It got to the point where I needed to make it happen because obviously the previous years hadn't gone the best. And I mean, I got it rocked up in 2020 with like the thoughts in mind that I need to focus. I need to finish races. I need to be more consistent and crash less, basically. And then also, I mean, we got to the first test, and I think on the 6th lap, I was like half a second off the fastest lap time I'd ever done there. So I got on that bike, and I really just felt so comfortable coming into 2020. And I mean, the bike definitely made a step from 2019 to 2020, the KTM at least. It was a step closer to the Honda, so that was a good thing for me last year. And I mean, I still made mistakes, which cost me quite a lot in the end because I wasn't so far from first. But I think I definitely feel like I learned, and I feel like I ended the season pretty strong. And if I can pick up where I left off, I think I'll be quite all right.
I mean, you pointed out something during the interview today, and I didn't actually realize this. You're only 50 points behind the winner, and you had 5 gear nets. I mean, holy crap.
So Qatar got taken out, which is a bummer. And then Lamar, my bike, unfortunately stopped. So those are 2 that were out of my hands. Well, potentially out of my hands. And then the others were just my mistakes, unfortunately. So, you got to, if you can just limit the mistakes and try and be as consistent as possible, you'll definitely be in the fight for the championship. So.
I want to ask you now. There's been rumors that this move. We were all hoping we were going to go to Moto 2 this year. When you had signed Moto 3 again, it was kind of like, it's Petronas and they've got the levels. There is talk that this move was obviously to compete for the Moto 3 title, being a competitive team and a competitive package, but with an option to go to Moto 2 for 2022. Is that kind of something that you and the team have spoken about? Is that something that's in the deal, in the talks? Is it performance-based, or is it like a done deal type thing?
So yeah, basically, I mean, 2021 after Qatar, we had the lockdown and that, and obviously nothing much came up after lockdown. And then when we got back to Jerez, it was the first race. And obviously at that, so the whole of 2021 up until July, I had in my mind set that I'm going to Moto 2 no matter what. I need to go. And it was after Jerez 1, I woke up on the Monday morning in between the two races, and I had a message from my manager saying, listen, Petronas really wants you on Moto 3. Would you consider it, And at first I put some thoughts into it, I just said, let me think about it. And obviously I had some options to go to Moto 2, but the deal that was coming for Petronas just seemed a lot safer and a lot better conditions, So yeah, I changed my mind and I decided to stay with Moto 3. And, at least I got everything sorted early in the year so that I knew I was safe and I could carry on and not have to worry about what happened in the rest of the season, Could just focus on my job. And yeah, obviously I was pushing to go to Moto 2 with them directly, I was begging them, please take me to Moto 2 straight, But yeah, they really believe in me and they really think that we can do a good job together in Moto 3, and they want to take me all the way if they can, So that's the plan. Let's go to Moto 3, try and do our best, and go up to Moto 2 and possibly even Moto GP one day.
Just quickly, you said there, you signed the deal early and that kind of, settled you a bit and you had your best season. Do you think something like that really does put your mind at ease, knowing that you're not going into a racing season going, well, if I don't perform, I don't have a ride. That's a lot of pressure on you. Going into a season knowing, okay, well, let me go out there, race, get good results, impress this team, but, I'm signed up. Do you think that must have been a huge factor? That it really must have.
Yeah, it doesn't really bother you when you're out there, but I mean, obviously sometimes you think about it. I mean, for me, it was nice because they approached me, even though I had DNF the first 2 rounds of the season. I crashed out in Qatar, I got taken out, and I crashed out in Jerez on the last lap out of like 3rd or whatever. And they phoned me up on Monday morning, please come ride for us. They really saw potential in me. So that was pretty cool already, which I really quite liked. And yeah, I mean, at least once it is done, then like I said, you carry on and you're safe for the next year, and you just forget about everything else and deal with the job at hand. Because I mean, yeah, sometimes if you get to the later stages and all the rides are disappearing, I mean, then it kind of bothers you, So to be one of the first guys to sign up and know you're safe, it's always a good thing.
You know what I'm really impressed about? If anyone during 2020 lockdown watched Supersport ran the documentary with the Petronas team building success, about how the whole team started. We forget this team's only a couple of years old, and there's an ex GP rider, Johan Stiggerfeldt, that actually is quite high up in the team. I'm actually speaking to him next week Tuesday in a pre-recorded interview, which I'll put up. But there were scenes where he sits down with Razley or whatever, however you say his name, and the whole team, and they go through the timesheets and say, yeah, this guy's really good, we need to get him. This guy's brilliant, we need to get him. We can't get him, whatever. I would have just loved to have seen that camera where they went down that Moto 3 list and gone, no, this Darryn Binder guy, like, fuck me, this guy's fast. We got to get him type thing. So, I mean, that is a big pat on the back to have probably the most exciting teams in the paddock at the moment in all 3 classes. If I look what the team did in Moto 2, Jake Dixon came from BSP, didn't do anything previously in Moto 2, started the season off a bit crappy, but by the end of it, that guy was a top 5 consistent. Okay, he crashed out when he was leading races and that, but he went from a rider that was filling up the Moto 2 grid, to be honest, and he turned into a serious contender. So that, and I think it's not only the bike, and I think being surrounded by a team of professionals like Stigefeld, Razlan, Morbidelli, Quattararo, now having Rossi, I mean, that can only play in your favor. So I think that's a huge kudos to you and the job that you've done over the years to put your name in that spotlight.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that team, they've got a rider coach that goes through all three classes. You know, he's out there in every session, watching, coming. You need anything, you go and speak to him. So, yeah, I mean, having all those guys, everyone, I mean, that team is so big. I'm sure they'll be able to point you in the right direction and really help you out when you need it. So, yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to working with them. I think it's going to be a super cool year, and yeah, I'm rather excited.
Okay, I want to know is, okay, your team's going to work hard, all of that. What are your kind of thoughts for 2021? What's different in your mind now going into this? How are you going to wrap this up?
I wouldn't say much has changed in my mind, to be quite honest. I mean, obviously, I know what I need to do on my side. I need to make sure that I'm fit as can be and ready to roll out every race 100% healthy. And yeah, obviously, like I said, I want to be more consistent. Qualify better is definitely one of my things I need to work on. Give myself a little bit less work. But yeah, I think...
What is it about qualifying? I mean, I know it's both of you bloody benders. You're bloody qualifying. But what is it about qualifying that doesn't quite click? You know, you get some really fast qualifying riders, and then they're crap in the race. You guys are the opposite. What is it about the hot laps that don't kind of gel?
You know, a lot of the time there's tracks that you like that out lap, and the first lap on the soft tire is like a different world. So in Moto3, obviously the slipstream helps always. You know, you've watched the qualifying, it's a joke how the guys wait around and play games and whatever. So that plays a big role of it. But the thing is, quite a lot of the tracks, that first lap on the tires, like really it makes a difference. You can pull like a half a second difference, you know. So one of the things is you need to get out there, put together an absolute clean lap with a slipstream on that first lap, and that's kind of your chance. And yeah, I don't know, I've struggled to get that right. So I'm more of a guy that goes out, does a whole lot of laps in the same lap time, and when it comes to the race, I do the same lap time, whereas the other guys don't pull that half a second in that one lap, and then, I mean, yeah, I just move forward.
How do you sort of change that? I mean, is this a mindset thing? Is it practice?
Yeah, I mean, just first of all, I think one of the big things is going to be John and I working together. We can go out there and absolutely hammer it. You're not going to be sitting around looking for a toe or whatever it is, you know, and you can work on it every session together. So by the time it gets to qualifying, you've got it down to a T. You know what you've got to do to pull that lap. You're not going in thinking, oh, geez, because I mean, a lot of the time during sessions, you're working for the race, you know, so you're not too bothered about that ultimate lap time. So sometimes when they stick in the new set, they just throw you out there and you do your best, but you kind of just start in a rhythm straight away. Whereas now, if we can work together, those first couple laps, we can push each other, help each other out, and then carry on working for the race, you know. So, yeah, let's see. Yeah.
John Mulder, he said they should make dive bombing legal in qualifying. I agree.
Yeah, I reckon we should have a sprint race. We should all line up next to each other and just go and see what happens.
Well, one lap dash, that's your qualifying grid. You win by miles.
One lap dash. I'll pass a few others.
Man.
There's now, Lord, 2020 they changed the whole calendar and that you stayed in the bubble pretty much in Europe. At the moment, it's a full calendar with the likes of Qatar, Kota, Argentina. I think those are going to fall away. Would you prefer a normal full season with all the tracks? I mean, I know there were some tracks you missed out on, like Argentina, where you're really good. You got a podium there. Or would you prefer, or do you think this kind of European bubble season is going to happen again?
I would prefer to have the full calendar. I mean, the full calendar it's really, really cool. It's really awesome to race all those tracks in all those different countries and that. But unfortunately, I can't see it happening right now. Maybe if things change towards the end of the year, maybe we'll get the last part of the season normal. But I mean, at the beginning now, I can't see us doing Qatar, Thailand, Argentina, America, all those. I could be wrong. I mean, I have no idea. As of right now, it says it's happening, but yeah, I just feel that it's quite a lot to get everybody there and for things to run smoothly. But yeah, I mean, last year was definitely strange for us, being having all those double headers and only racing in Europe and that. But I mean, at the end of the day, we still got a race, and it was still a championship, you know. So if that has to happen again, it is what it is, you know. Let's go. I mean, you can go and watch back. Not once was it a double header the same, you know. From week to week, it changed so much, and I mean, sometimes it benefited us, and sometimes it didn't. So I thought it was pretty cool, and I enjoyed it. And as long as we're racing, I'm happy.
How was that bubble back-to-back system? Because you literally rocked up to the track. How did you train and stuff? I mean, were you allowed to go out and cycle? Or, I mean, was it literally just you and your brother in a hotel room, track, ride, back to a hotel room? Because, I mean, that bubble system is kind of a very strict thing. People, it all looks good from outside for us. Yeah, we're watching MotoGP racing, but it must have been hard, like, stay in this hotel for pretty much 2 weeks and not being able to go and do much.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, you'd rock up already on like so Jerez was the first race, and I can't remember if we tested or not. Jeez, I'm sorry, I can't remember. But anyway, we rocked up to Jerez and then you were there for the next 2 weeks. So you had your hotel room. Luckily, Brad and I were staying together. And yeah, we took our bicycles down and put them in the back of the trailer, you know, and they were there for the rest of the year. So we were you're not allowed to go to restaurants or anything. So if you're in a hotel, you're allowed to obviously have room service. And then when you're at the track, you could eat from your hospitality, which you weren't allowed to go to. They just brought the food to you, and everybody had to eat on their own and whatever. So it was, yeah, it was a bit crazy. But I mean, yeah, to stay there for 2 weeks, you go like Monday, I didn't want to see the track after the race. You know, I just chilled at the hotel, took a day off. And then Tuesday, we were allowed to go cycle. As long as we were cycling, we were allowed to go out on the roads, you know, or running or whatever. So like we could go out, and so we would go for a nice cycle, and then let's say the next day we would go to the track and do laps around the track. And, you know, there were so many people cycling, like my brother's whole team cycles. So we often joined them, and there was like a few of us, and we'd ride around together, which was really cool. But yeah, by the end of the season, it got a lot, not being allowed to go to restaurants or go anywhere really. And I really didn't like it. Stick up my nose every week. That got too much.
They push it into your nose until it literally goes into your brain, and every single neuron in your body screams every week.
I was lucky, you know, I got a small brain, so it doesn't poke too much, but yeah, it's still a horrible feeling.
Are you guys need to go cycling now? Rob, you said you wanted to go cycling with them today. Is that a good idea?
No, I'm going next week with him. I'm going to go, and myself and Shez are going to try and I just want to show, like,
Shez, you, Mr. 39-year-old father bod, all of that. Come now. What do you really?
Father extraordinary. I want to first of all go hang with these guys, and I want to show these lighties. Like, listen,
we're not going to hang with them. They're going to be in distance somewhere. They're going to be panting and looking terrible.
I'm 39. I'm hairy. I'm a father, but I can say.
I'll come along. Definitely. One of those electric bicycles, and I'll just no problem.
Oh, that's cool. An e-bike. Yeah, but I'm definitely no cyclist, so I'm sure Uncle Rob will be able to hang with us, no stress.
Okay, so Shez and Brad can ride at the front, and me and Daz will ride at the back, and just take notice.
I'll play back up in the car with an aircon. How's that?
Yes, that's real.
Daz, next week's your birthday. How old are you turning?
I'm turning 23.
Okay, so before we say goodbye to you and get that other not so cool brother of yours, we are gonna everybody stand at attention and please join me in an anthem of happy birthday to Darryn.
Oh gosh.
1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Donovan, happy birthday. Tell the parrot to sing. Happy birthday, dear.
Let's not get him started.
This is the worst thing.
Happy birthday. What are you talking about?
I'd just like to thank Bobby Idol for the birthday singing. It was brilliant.
Was that the best thing that happened to you, Darryn?
Gee whiz.
That was
I
awesome.
take it as you haven't sang for a while, eh?
No, I haven't. My thoughts are struggling a little bit. So just you're lucky I did that. I wasn't going to do it. I was a bit stage shy, but I did it for you.
Thanks, Uncle Rob. I really appreciate it. So.
Daz, we love you, dude. All the best. I'm so excited. I really am so excited to see you in this new chapter, in this new team. I think it's going to be brilliant. I think you're going to blow the socks off everyone. I think you're going to have an absolutely amazing season. I'm so proud of you. I'm sure I speak for everyone that's watching, everyone that supports you. We are so proud of you, especially I think last year really you came out of your shell. I think you got the mixture of the rock star Daz and the corporate Daz. I think you finally got that mixture right. I think you got your mentality right, and just take it into this year. Keep that rock star vibe, dude. Keep doing what you're doing. And like I said, next week, Tuesday, I'm going to speak to your new team boss, Mr. Johan Stiggerfeld. I'm going to ask him what he thinks of you. So look out for that, Motor Rider World fans. But from myself, everyone that's tuned in, and Don, just a big thank you, and we love you. Don, final words for Daz?
Daz, just go get him. You're dive bomb Darryn. You can do it. You got this. Do it now.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. And to everyone watching, thank you guys so much for all the support. And yeah, really looking forward to the season, and hopefully it's a good one. Cheers, guys. Enjoy it, Brad.
Oh, boo.
Okay, my favorite is when he starts in like 28th place, and like in the first few laps he's not really featuring. And then as he starts coming in the front, you hear the commentator like, "Look who's coming through! It's Darryn Binder!" And they get so excited. You just know cool things gonna happen. Look at this guy. Earphones on. You can hear us.
How's it going? How you doing?
Rock and roll, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad, eh? Not bad, thanks. How's things there? Haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, like what's it, 3 hours?
Yeah, more or less.
My two favorite parts about the Binders, okay? And like you and your brother are okay, but that parrot and that dog. Tell us about the parrot. We don't give I don't really give a shit about your bike and the testing and all that. Doesn't matter. Parrot and dog. Go on. Tell us parrot and dog.
Well, the parrot old Oscar can make a good noise now and then. He wakes us up in the morning and then he sings us to sleep at night. And
Does he Rob or not?
Sorry?
Does he sing we just had Rob, that's right, sing happy birthday to your brother. It's honestly the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Oh, no, listen, it sounds more like our Rob's concert, I must be honest, than his happy birthday singing there.
What a bastard. You're lucky I can call you my friend. You're lucky. Let me just tell you what a cool guy Brad Binder is. Okay? So go have lunch today, and we're about to go to a fish restaurant, and he says, "Do you eat fish?" And I said, "No, not really, I don't." So he changed the restaurant. I mean, it's if that's not love, I don't know what love is.
You know, Uncle Rob, I'm just thoughtful like that.
Did you have to go to McDonald's or Burger King for this? Like, that's right.
We should have. There's a McDonald's next door.
We should. I try to get them to go there because I want to introduce him to this thing called fat. I want to introduce his legs to a thing called fat. Because
with my legs, I've tried. It doesn't work. Eh?
You know what? Whenever we go on an international launch and there's like a few journalists, we take turns, like when we're in airports, getting food. And we'll go to, I'll go to some like nice French cafe. We'll have something. One of the other journos goes to this nice Italian place and we get something. Right, Rob, it's your turn. We're going to Burger King. No, whatever exotic, like Tuscany, wherever. And you're like, Burger King. So cool.
Let me tell you, when the exchange rate is 5 zillion to 1, you go to the cheapest place. That's Burger King.
No, you know what? We're in Rands too, and we bought you nice food and you bought us Burger King. You bastard.
Brad, my first kind of question to you is now, guys like myself and Don and pretty much everyone else in the world, we have New Year's resolutions: lose weight, get faster, get better looking, get richer, get whatever. What is a MotoGP rider that lives with his parents, that has a beautiful girlfriend, that is very fast, that gets his mom to do his washing? What is your New Year's resolution? Like, do you even have one? Do you sit and go, well, I need to lose weight, which you can't do because you're 430 But what is a MotoGP star's New Year's resolution?
To be honest, I've never had a New Year's resolution. I think, maybe it's worth getting one. What do you think my New Year's resolution should be?
Well, if I'm going to speak on Courtney's behalf, I know exactly what that is because she touched upon it today. We want to make, but if I was you, I would say maybe move out of my parents' house. Maybe.
Uncle Rob, when you buy a house and you spend 6 nights in it in 3 years, I thought it was a better plan to rent it out. So,
no one knows you're watching better than your mom. It's just I've seen this.
No, it's actually, I prefer it this way because I spend all the year away in Europe and I never get to see my parents. So when I come home, I'm much more happy here than being at my own house. That's for sure.
No, dude, do it. The worst thing I ever did was move out of my own house. It's such a mission. No one do your washing. It's a pain in the ass. No, just.
I feel your pain when I'm in Europe, eh?
Yeah, and Auntie Sharon's the coolest person ever. Stay with her. Trevor's not bad either.
Yeah, they're right, the buddies, eh? Can't complain.
First quick question for you, Brad. Heading into 2021, testing. I know just before we came on, you had some news about testing. First of all, what are the plans with testing, actual race or actual testing dates and what tracks? And second of all, any new parts, new bikes? I know that with the COVID, there's been a lot of restrictions to engines and stuff. And so tell us, have you got anything new coming chassis-wise or anything?
I know there are a few new things coming. Pedrosa, and then we're testing a few new things at the final test in Jerez. But exactly what they are at this stage, I'm not too sure. I don't know exactly what the updates are, but I actually spoke to Mike Leitner, our team manager, yesterday, and he told me that we got quite a serious test list to go through. So I'm sure the guys, KTM, they always work hard and they always do anything they can to make steps forward. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be pleasantly surprised when we start to test all the new things. But I'm sure everyone that keeps up with the MotoGP news has seen that Malaysia test was cancelled. And I just got an email about 15-20 minutes ago saying that we're doing 2 extra days in Qatar before the 3-day official test. So the newcomers to MotoGP, the rookies, are doing 3 days, and then we got 2 or 3 days off, and another 3 days is the official test. But all the official riders can do the final 2 days of what they normally call the shakedown test. So it should be good. At least we'll be doing quite a bit of testing. Unfortunately, I think 6 days of testing in Qatar is going to be quite hectic because, that track, if the wind just blows for some reason, it can be completely covered in dust and a bit hectic for sure. But I'm just glad that we definitely got a little bit of testing before the race again, because to take 3 months off on that MotoGP bike, it's a bit scary when you jump back on for the first time again.
Now, I'm going to ask this. I mean, the testing, is this more of a problem for you? Because now, just to update everybody, KTM had, what are they called? Those, because you're a new team, you get concessions. There we go. So you're allowed to update your bike. Everyone else does not. So they're pretty much getting on the same bike. Is this more of a problem for you than everybody else, or do you think it'll be all right?
Well, I don't see. Well, as far as I know, we are still allowed to bring something new to the first race, as far as I'm aware of. And if we do get anything, it's going to be better. So, or if there is anything that we're going to bring in, it can only be an improvement where the other guys don't have that opportunity. So again, I only see positives on our side. But at the end of the day, it's going to be cool. I think we're in for a super exciting season. And, I've been training super hard, been working really hard, riding a lot. And, I'm trying to pull out all the stops to hopefully have a super good year.
You're getting a new team crew chief. Sorry, I'm losing words tonight. It's like, what's it now, 20 past 8? Jeez, it's been a long day. You're getting a new crew chief. Now, he was the dude who worked with you. He's worked with you in both Moto3 and Moto2. Well, what do you think? Is this a good thing? Do you think it's going to be a big improvement?
Honestly, my old crew chief was a really, really awesome guy, really good at his job too. For this season, I'm getting Andres he's coming to be my crew chief again. he was my data guy in Moto 3, the year I won the World Championship. And in Moto 2, all 3 years, he was my crew chief. So we have a really, really good relationship. And, you know, I think he understands really well what I'm talking about when I complain about the bike, or, you know, complain and make these funny noises we all do, and all the different signs and whatever language you use to try explain what the bike's doing. So I think he understands me very well by now, for
He
sure.
knows what the word cuck means.
Yeah, I'm sure he understands more than that. So over the years, he's picked up on a bit of South African.
Yeah, I did ask this earlier today. The Red Bull documentary, Becoming 33. Tell us about the shirt you were wearing when you were showing everyone around your house.
Yeah, look, obviously that morning when I got dressed, I didn't quite realize what I was putting on, and didn't think that the world would be looking at that T-shirt. But yeah, I think it said "same old cuck." So yeah, what can you do?
Realize what it said, like overseas.
I'm pretty sure overseas a lot of the people didn't click, but here in South Africa, 100%, we all know exactly what it said.
We only applauded, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
Brad, I want to talk about something that I don't think we really dive into a lot with any MotoGP riders, and the pressure that comes with it. So Moto 3, you had pressure. Moto 2, you had pressure. Was the pressure in MotoGP anything different? Was it like amplified? Did you feel pressure? Did you put pressure on yourself? Did you get pressure from the team? I mean, is it, we all know the big step that it is from Moto 3, Moto 2. MotoGP is the pinnacle of racing. Were there times where you sat there and went, yeah, this is tough. This is really tough, and I'm gonna have to change things around a little bit, yeah.
For sure, you get your days where nothing seems to be going right, or you feel like you're on the edge and you're half a second off, you know. And at those times, it's obviously really difficult. And the good thing is that I've never really felt any pressure. To be honest, of course, when you're fighting for a championship, or, you know, if you need to win, if you want to win the title, saying, then of course you feel pressure. But in the day-to-day, going about your job and all of that stuff, really, you know, I think the great thing with KTM is they understand a rider really well, because all the managements are ex-riders. You know, Pit, Byra, Mike, all of them, they know exactly that, you know, if we're sitting down in 12th place, it's not by choice. You know, we're doing everything we can to be there. So at the end of the day, they only do things to help us. They'll never do something to add pressure and make those challenging times even more difficult. So, yeah, I mean, so far, honestly, the most pressure I ever have comes from myself. I'm super hard on myself, and I don't accept anything but trying to be completely upfront, you know, at least fighting on the podium, or I want to win every race if I can. And when I'm not, I always try to do my best. But often this year, I've learned that if I just accepted the way things were, and just got the best out of the whole package and the riding that I was doing throughout the weekend, it would have been enough, and I would have got a good result, where I really tried to go over the top, and in many cases I crashed or went off track or something happened. So that was a bit frustrating. Exactly, you know. But again, I think that's also part of your rookie year. You know, it's stuff you need to learn. And as much as people can tell you what to expect and what to do and what not to do, I found that you've got to make the mistakes yourself before you really understand them. And yeah, I made enough of them last year, so let's build from there.
But
tell me a little bit, Darryn.
I just want to ask Brad something quickly, and I think it's another question that I don't think a lot of people have asked and has been answered properly. Do you think, in your mind, that winning your first MotoGP race after your third race, because I sometimes look at that and think it was brilliant, don't get me wrong, it was absolutely amazing, but do you think it came maybe a little bit too soon? Because after that, there were these expectations like, right, podium every week, we're going for the championship. People were saying to me, Brad's going to win the championship. And it's like, hey, T-Rex, stop it.
Yeah, I don't know why my dog's having a bark here for some reason. I'm just not happy about saying.
Do you T-Rexes do it?
You must see the size of that dog, guys, at home. Honestly, I'm not joking. It weighs like 3 times as much as Brad does.
It's my little bear, or my shaking pony.
You can never ride number 3, put it this way. So do you think that win came a little bit too soon, and do you think it added that extra pressure on you? Because, like I said, as much as I know how good you are and I want you to win a world championship, when people said to me after that race, he's going to win the world championship, I was like, guys, just, like, calm down here. So do you think that came too soon? Do you think it came too soon, that it didn't let you experiment and get into the MotoGP vibe? You were kind of like, yeah, he's a race winner. Now he knows how to ride a MotoGP bike. Every week he's going to be challenging.
I think it had its benefits, and there was definitely a bit of negativity that came at the same time. I think people that really know the sport well, or people that are involved in the industry, understand that, it can happen, but it's not going to be like that in your rookie season.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. Okay, if you take the exception being Marc Marquez, everyone else, if you look at Maverick, Rins, the list goes on. If you look at their first seasons, you realize that MotoGP is no joke. It's super, super, super difficult. And, I think in Brno, it was just one of those, you have your days when everything just goes right and everything works really well. You feel great. You can do whatever you want with the bike, and it's just everything works perfect. And that was just one of those days. And to come out and actually win was amazing. I mean, in my third race was a shock, not only to me, but my whole entire team for sure. And the next weekend, I finished 4th. And I pulled into the pits like completely angry that I finished 4th place. I was like, this is crazy. I was stone last at the first test. And then all of a sudden I won a race, and now I want to win every weekend, So at the same time, I think I feel like I have a burning fire inside of me that I need to win, and I really want to, and I'll do anything to do it. And I found it's helped me many times in my career, but it really has hurt me sometimes too. So I just need to learn to tone that down at times. And regardless, I think I've learned my lessons, and I'm there, and I know I can do a good job. So let's see how I can do this year.
Okay, that was really motivational. So this next question is going to suck. I'm going to talk about, right, you had 2 collisions this year, which is a bit weird for you. You know what I mean? Maybe you want to touch on that also. But they were both mates of yours. What's going on?
Yeah, look, I mean, honestly, I'm used to, I always seem to ride into people, but never really wipe them out. And, the first one in Jerez was unfortunate because honestly, I didn't see I think it was Petrucci. As I turned into the corner, I saw this red bike up my inside. And as I stood up, obviously I rode straight into Miguel. So that was really unfortunate. But that one, was a little bit racing incident. Whereas the Jack Miller one, I just completely messed it up. I went super tight into turn 1 and I completely prepared turn 2. And I really didn't take into account that a lot of guys were on the curb on the outside of turn 1, where obviously with people bombing them and going out. And when we changed direction, I took it like on a normal lap where all the guys that had run wide in turn 1 obviously had killed all the people's corner speed in turn 2. So I just completely messed that up, and I rolled in there with probably 10, 15 Ks more speed than the guys in front of me. And by the time I realized that, I was literally straight into the back of Jack. So it's unfortunate, I really hope to stop taking people out, especially my friends. So
come on.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's never fun to ride into anyone or take anyone out, especially when you know how much work and effort everyone's whole team has put in to get to, that moment in the race, and then you go and you take away someone's opportunity. But it happens, and that's racing at the end of the day. So what can you do?
So what you say next week when I come cycling with you, I'm right behind you.
Yeah. Listen, Uncle Rob, if you're on a bicycle, but there's only one place you'll be, and that's behind me anyway.
I'm going to say, I don't think that's going to be a choice, Rob. Anyway.
I don't want you bombing me on the brakes, though, bud.
As long as can't you read what my cat says? Okay. Can't you read?
Yeah, I check.
Listen,
I do. I check it there.
I want to know after the races. So with Miguel and Jack, I mean, press and everybody loves sort of drumming it up. Like, ooh, what's going to happen now? What's this? And all the supporters are this, and everybody says that. What is it sort of like? I mean, we saw a bit of it with Jack, being really cool. And as far as I know, when a race after you took him out, Miguel came and was the first to congratulate you on your win and all of that. And I mean, are you guys just after the race? You've taken each other out. Are you guys just boys, and it's you're kind of one of those things, or is there any kind of animosity or anything after something like that?
I mean, no matter how you look at it, the guy that's on the short end is never going to be happy. But we all racers. We've all been racing since we were kids, and we've all taken someone out at some stage. We've all been taken out several times, and it's unfortunately part of it. So, I mean, I've always do the right thing, go there, say I'm sorry, and normally that's where it ends, and that's how it was this season. And honestly, the media normally just absolutely blow everything out of proportion. It's all you guys, and and also, I mean, Miguel and I were 100% fine. 10 minutes after the race, and of course, everything gets blown up, and the spectators. I had a lot of hate mail coming.
I remember the Portuguese were really lovely to you after that arrest race.
Oh, geez, I was getting such abuse. Gosh, it was actually funny because even, Courtney was getting messages about how bad it was, and oh my gosh, it was crazy. But it is what it is. I mean, I think, like I said earlier, I think between the riders, everything normally gets sorted out there and then, but everything just seems to drag on.
Does that kind of stuff affect you when you hear that some guy on the internet swearing about you? Does it even do anything?
It's never really bothered me. But at the time, I must be honest, I wasn't stoked about it, because the thing was, I did mess up. I did take out my mates, another KTM rider. The first race, I messed up myself. And to be honest, I think if I hadn't have done that, I don't know if I would have won in Brno, because it just like I don't know, it was just something that you really like. I felt it, I didn't want to ever do that again, and I was tired of messing around at the back. So I think I think that just really gave me the extra motivation to come out and try and do something proper.
All we need is a lot more Portuguese people to swear at you, and you win the championship.
Nah, look, I mean, it was I think everything just adds up, and eventually, like, holy shit, these guys are crazy.
I'm going to go on every single Portuguese group on Facebook. I'm going to write there, Miguel Oliveira is a dick, Brad Binder rules, you all suck. You're going to win the championship miles.
I don't know, that would go down too well. I wouldn't do it, to be honest.
Funny how you crashed out at Portimao in Portugal. Are you sure you didn't feel like it hit your neck or a bullet in your front wheel?
I think it might have something to do with like braking 10 meters too late and arriving way too fast, but who knows?
I want to your brake marker. That's what happened.
I don't know. Someone might have moved that board.
It's slipstreaming at your caddy. That's what happens.
That's it, bud.
So you've had a lot of time to now sit and digest and look back at your 2020 season. I know you've spoken about it 1,000 times in the moment, but you've really had time to sit and look back. Looking back at it now, heading into 2021, what do you look at and go, right, I've got to focus on not doing that. I've got to focus on letting the brakes go earlier, carrying more speed. I've got to focus on standing the bike up more, riding the bike on the electronics. What do you think about, and what do you kind of look forward to thinking about your 2020 season?
To be honest, from the riding point of view, there's not too much I need to change. It's more just the way, I think, the whole approach of the weekend. From the first free practice to really just setting your whole tire plan for the weekend, making sure you have 2 sets of tires for for FP3 to make sure you get straight into that Q2 session. It's all these small things that make a huge difference, and it's so vital. Like if you get straight into the Q2 session, and you say you qualify 9th, if you're on those first 3 rows, you almost stay out of trouble. Whereas if you're starting like 12th, 15th, the first 2 laps, you come across and you got a 3-4 second gap to the guys in first, and that's your race done. No matter what lap times you can lay down, you are not going to catch up 3-4 seconds on a guy that's you can maybe go 0.2 quicker per lap. You know what I mean? You're not going to go and whip them by a second. You know, these guys are the best of the best, you know, and you have to be perfect in every aspect just to be doing well. Never mind to just destroy everybody. So there's a lot of things I need to change. One thing definitely would be like I need to accept when you know some tracks bikes work great, some tracks other bikes don't work at all. Where it's also got a lot to do with the tires in MotoGP and which tires work with which bike at what track. And you know, there's always going to be that up and down. You see it a lot with the Ducatis and the Yamahas and all of that. And you know, I coming from Moto3 and Moto2, the guys who are up front every single weekend, because the bikes are so similar. But we're here where the bikes are so different and make the lap time in such different ways. There's always going to be that shift. And that's one thing I need to learn and just try and take the maximum I can out of each race. That's for sure.
You touched upon tires there, and Donovan and I have actually spoken about it plenty of times. I mean, take nothing away from Joan Mir. You know, he won the World Championship. Brilliant job from Suzuki. But do you think, certainly from an outsider's point of view, journalist in the MotoGP game, it just looks like Suzuki got the job done because their bike was the most consistent on the Michelin tires. What was it about the Michelin tires? I mean, is it a case of you and the KTM, if you could use a hard front and a soft rear at every race meeting, you would be title contenders, no doubt. It just seemed that whatever tire you put on the Suzuki, they could make work better than, like when you guys put a soft front on, you couldn't make it work. Medium, you could get away with. But I think that was a big factor, eh?
You know, definitely. I think I'm not sure. For sure, it's not just the tires. You know, I think in general, Joan and the whole team, they really did a great job to get the maximum out of every single weekend. And for sure, like if you look at our KTMs, we benefit a lot when we can use a harder front compound tire. But the problem is the temperature has to be right, and the track needs to have a good amount of rights and a good amount of lefts, because these tires cool very quickly. And if you just lose a bit of temperature on the left, you literally change direction and you crash for no reason, and you stand up and you think, what happened? So you always have to, there's like I don't know, I want to say ratio, but I don't really know how to explain it, where it has to be hot enough to run those hard tires and take the benefit out of them. Whereas if the tires are too soft for us and we just collapse the things, or we have that weak feeling in the brakes, we can't take advantage there, and we struggle to stop the bike, which is normally our strongest point. And as for the rear tires, I think it's very similar for us compared to the other guys. So yeah, I mean, I need to learn myself how to ride a little bit better when we need to use these soft compound front tires. Just purely that you need to change your riding style up. You need to brake a little bit softer and maybe use that extra edge grip you have. Whereas I'm a rider that always takes full advantage on the brakes. So that's something I can definitely work on for next season.
I want to ask something. I asked Darryn the same thing, and it seems to be a bit of a Binder trait. Your qualifying sucks. What is it? How do you change that? I know Darryn spoke about spending more time going out on soft rubber and, you know, working less on race pace than that. I mean, for you, what do you do to get further up the grid? I know you already touched on the fact that if you don't qualify up front and you don't get a good start up there, you're a bit stuffed. But how would you go about fixing that?
Honestly, my whole career so far, I've never been the best at one lap. Normally, if I can do the lap time once, I can do it 10 times, which has always worked in my favor in the races. But in MotoGP especially, it's super hard to, I mean, sometimes on the exact same tires that we race on, we qualify on, and we go almost 2 seconds a lap quicker. So it's just really absolutely putting everything you have into those couple laps and really understanding how to make that lap time. And it's not easy. It's super difficult. And the main thing is, you know, it's sometimes I qualified sometimes 0.3 off, and I never made it into the Q2. So it's insane, you know. And many times this year, it's been my first time there on the GP bike. Friday is normally a write-off because I'm still trying to learn how to ride there. Saturday, okay, in FP3 it starts to get better, but then everyone does a full time attack like qualifying session at the end to try and get straight into Q2. And many times 0.3, 0.4 doesn't get you through. And you 0.3, 0.4 for fastest guys in the world, which is not easy. And you so far you got, I haven't had that experience with the bike yet. I haven't had the experience on the track, how to sort out the lines, what tires work for me, what we need to change on the bike. And it's just, I find there's not enough time to really get into it. But I think I can definitely improve that this season. Now that I understand a lot more, I think I'll be able to really get that benefit and hopefully get better qualifying. So fingers crossed, and let's see. I'd love to sort out my qualifying.
Is there going to be a problem going to tracks you've never ridden on before? I mean, there was a limited season last year. We don't know what's happening with the COVID thing, but it's possible you're going to be riding out of Europe. Is it going to be sort of back to square one, or you think you're kind of going to be okay with it?
I think I'll be okay. For sure, it's going to be exactly like I just explained, that it takes the Friday to sort things out, because that's just normal. When you go to the track for the first time on a bike with such a different riding style as what I'm used to, the lines change completely, your brake markers, all of that kind of stuff. So you need to figure it out. And but it is what it is. Unfortunately, I think my rookie year wasn't really a rookie year because I didn't get to go to all of the tracks. So I expect some races to be a little bit difficult early on when I go to them to the first time, when I go to these tracks for the first time. But, nevertheless, I had good races this year, and it was my first time at almost all the tracks. So I'm sure I can do a good job anyway.
What is there a big setup difference in the bike between your qualifying going for a fast lap to your race kind of setup? I've always wondered, do they set up like change springs and whatever for go do a fast lap and then race setup is a lot more stiffer, or what's the deal with that setup?
Not really. No, there's not a big difference at all in the setup. I mean, sometimes we might change some small things for the race. Normally, I find when we change things for a race, it's just to make the bike maybe a little bit more friendly on the body, just to not make it as physical to throw around. But other than that, the setting's really similar. The only thing you need to do in the race is just really watch out those first 5-8 laps where you got that full fuel load, because all that extra weight, obviously the bike doesn't stop as well as it does when you're doing like your qualifying laps with a couple liters of fuel in the tank. So yeah, when you add 15 kilograms of fuel, it's a bit more of a challenge to throw around for sure.
Did you, I think you benefited a lot. If I look at the first test that you did on the MotoGP bike at Valencia, you were going into turn one especially, and I could see you wanting to get the bike sideways and it would correct itself and put you in the turn loading the front. As the season progressed, we saw that Moto2 Brad Binder come out. You were one of the most aggressive guys into a turn sliding the bike in MotoGP. Is that something you and the team worked on? Is that something that really gave you confidence and feeling, more confident with the package?
I think it came a lot down to just really understanding how hard you can pull the front brake. If I look at like the first Valencia test, if I was braking with maybe 8-9 bar pressure, that would be a lot, whereas now I use 12 bar or more. So the difference how hard you're actually braking is huge. It's hard to understand how hard you can actually pull the lever because you have so much traction on the front. But another thing is also the rear tire just has such an insane amount of grip that it doesn't slide. Like the reason you don't see them going sideways is because the grip is ridiculous. Like it's insane. And I just found that now I end up using a ton of rear brake just to help give me that little bit of more of a free feeling on the rear. And, it was difficult for me to use so much engine brake at the beginning. Sorry, not so much. Well, it's a combo really. It's engine brake and a lot of rear brake at the same time. Yeah. And as I got more and more used to it, I managed to use more rear brake and all of that. And then naturally, of course, I go back to my style that I'm used to. So, it was a bit difficult at the beginning, but I'm glad it's getting better.
I want you to explain this to the ladies and gentlemen. You did on one of our previous chats, and I think both Rob and I went, what? Why do you want the back to slide going into a corner?
Actually, if the bike's perfectly in line, it doesn't really turn in. It just kind of pushes the front wheel forward because it's the back tire, like it almost overpowers the front. So you need it to break traction just to really get the bike to flick into the corners. And once you're in the corner, of course, it comes back just before you touch the gas, but already then you've got most of your turning done. So, some corners is obviously better to keep it in line. Other corners is much better to try and slip it a little bit on the entry.
I just point out that when I go in with the back wheel sideways, it doesn't come back. I just hit the floor. Australia teach me to get it sideways. Geez, like a high side. Man, it was sore.
Yeah, look, I think our bikes are a little bit more prepared to do that than your average
and you didn't leveling in
super bike. Yeah.
Was that the biggest factor with the Bruno one? Is that just you were quite happy with a very loose bike underneath you because you were sliding that thing everywhere. When you passed Morbidelli and Alacia Spargo going into that downhill right-hander, I mean, I just thought there is no ways in hell you're stopping this motorbike, but you got it sideways, you put it in. Do you think that was a big factor? A lot of the riders were saying, oh, it's crap, we have no grip, the bike's sideways. And you were going, well, this is like riding back at Midval 20 years ago.
It's more than that. You won the last lap and you're leading by like 23 seconds. And we're like, Brad, don't make any mistakes. And you're squirming. The whole of South Africa was going, no.
No, I mean, all weekend everyone was complaining because the grip was terrible, but I think it almost felt a bit like the Moto2 because the Moto2 we don't have a lot of grip at all. The tires we use are really on the hard end, and the traction, especially from the rear, is not much at all. Whereas when I jumped on this MotoGP bike, you can't believe the amount of grip you have. You don't believe how far you can push it. Whereas now in Brno, it was almost a little bit more normal for me. And then, after that, we went to a few different tracks. And then again, it was like, geez, this is insane, what you can do with the bike. And I think maybe that also helped a little bit for sure. But I mean, the calendar, it's not Brno every weekend. So we've got to try and fix it everywhere else. But I'm sure we can.
Are you sad about that?
To be honest, I've never done well there. I had one podium there in Moto3. That's it. And then I got the win there in MotoGP. So it's never been a track that I've been like, yes, we're going to Brno this weekend. Now maybe it would be a different story. But for sure. I mean, it's not the end of the world. The rest of the tracks are pretty cool too.
You went from there to Misano. Now, Misano has just been retired and the grip was, to use one of your favorite words, insane. And the KTM's it was a double header. The KTM sort of struggled there in the first race. Then the second one, you guys seem to have found something. I mean, what sort of goes into that, where your bike doesn't work in the first one and then suddenly something big? What sort of things would you work on for something like that?
I think there's a lot of small little things, small little details that make a huge difference. It's just one thing, of course, is the way the bike works, but another thing is just to get confidence. And once you find confidence on the bike, you can do things that you shouldn't really be able to, or you wouldn't think you can. And like in Misano, the first week, all three KTMs would cross the line together. And one guy was going wide here, then I'd come past, then I'd go off track, then the other guy would be in front. And we're having a terrible race, all three of us together, and it was clear to see we all had the same issues. And I think our team just put their heads together and they figured it out. From FP1 the following weekend, we were super fast. I think I finished Friday in first. I think I was fastest on Friday.
Yeah.
And Saturday I qualified 5th or 6th, and in the race, I was feeling a bit warm, and I was in 3rd place, and then I crashed. So not fantastic, but that's one of those learning curves, I suppose.
Marc Marquez, your idol is Valentino Rossi, and you rode around the outside of him a few times, and scared him, made him cock his pants in Spielberg as well. I mean, I for one, I don't want to say it was nice because it's not nice what's happened, but it kind of sparked MotoGP not having him there last year. We had 9 different winners, Ron Mir winning the championship. Heading into 2021, I'm kind of thinking, I want a little bit more Marc Marquez in there because I want to see a Brad Binder ride around the outside of a Marc Marquez. You spent a little bit of time with him on track, and I remember you saying that guy is so precise. We see this out-of-shape guy going into turns, but every time he hit that apex. I mean, are you excited to see the guy coming back? Do you think he is going to come back?
I really, really hope to see Mark back on the grid next year. Like we spoke about it before, I did laps behind him in warm-up in my first race in Jerez, and geez, this guy is incredible, really. It's so cool to ride behind him, and you see he looks like so out of control when you're watching him, but when you have a look, he's so perfect. Like, he doesn't miss that inside apex by a mil, and he uses all the track. It doesn't matter what the bike's doing. He's literally just super, super clean the way he does things, even though it looks so wild. And it's so fast at the same time, obviously. So it's impressive. It was really impressive to go behind him. And I think he's 7-8 time world champion, or however many it is. It's clear when you follow him, for sure. The guy's special. But I mean, it's unfortunate. You never like to see a guy get hurt. And I really hope he's comes back soon, because MotoGP is made for the fastest guys in the world, and we're missing him at the moment.
Don, last question.
Last question. Yeah, put me on the spot. Jeez, it's been a long day. Just touch on 2021. Okay, you're going into it now. What's going on in your head? What's going on in your head now, going into 2021?
Well, at the moment, I'm really just trying to take advantage of this extra time I have now in South Africa. Really trying to, we have good weather here at the moment. We always can go ride motocross and go cycle in the mornings, and everything here is just so much easier. Whereas in Europe at the moment, it looks like everyone's under snow. So I'm very lucky with that, but also at the same time, I'm just super excited to get back. I mean, I felt like I left last season in such a bad way, and I really, I know I could have done 10 times the job I did, but I just never put it together. So, I'm just excited, and I know I can do a much better job, and I want to prove that. So let's see how we get on.
Is that the Parrot in the background?
Yeah, I'm actually right next to his cage. So normally you cover him and he shuts up, but it looks like he wants to have a chat tonight. So
show us the Parrot.
Sorry?
Show us the Parrot.
He's got his cover over his cage, so you're not going to see much.
Give me solutions, not problems. Come on.
Yeah.
You and that Parrot, Donovan. Leave the Parrot alone.
Yeah, geez. He's getting harassed here.
Brad, want to say thank you very much. Everyone's gone absolutely crazy here. We wish you the best. You are heading out. A lot of people are worried you're going to be stuck in South Africa. You and Darryn are getting out soon.
Yeah, I mean, we have our flights booked, and we're heading out soon. We had a little bit of a this bird. We had a little bit of a scare when Cyril was going to. Well, he had a tattoo the other day. We thought that maybe we'd get stuck here, but yeah, we booked flights just in case he was going to change things. But luckily, we can stay a little bit longer. So yeah, we're getting out of here. Hopefully, nothing changes, and hopefully, by the time we get out of here, Europe's a little bit calmer.
Awesome, dude. Leave the Parrot alone. Well, dude, we're very proud of you. Go to bed, cuddle Courtney, cuddle the Parrot, cuddle the T-Rex. Thank you so much for talking to us. And we really appreciate you always taking out the time, especially for me personally. Really appreciate it. And we'll catch up with you during the year. I'll see you next weekend for a cycle where I'm going to absolutely destroy you. I'm going to show you what a 39-year-old hairy man can do. And just have a good time.
Dad, while he's carrying on, looks like that's like take a photo of him coming up a hill, sweating and panting. You guys all.
I'll be sure to take one.
Do it. I'm coming out. Please do it. It'll mean the world to me and everybody else watching.
Awesome.
no,
Thank you so much for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, dude. Now, we've had one guy ask here, we ask you so many questions. Don't you ever want to ask a question? Do you have a question you want to ask?
Geez, a question, eh? Geez, I don't
How
know.
How are babies made? Well, let me tell you how babies are made. What you got to do is put some rose petals in the bath, okay? Make
Is
a
that how
nice,
you started, Uncle Rob?
I have a friend named Damien.
gently put their hair behind the ear. You know what to do the rest.
I'll keep it in mind. Thanks, Uncle Rob.
Keep well. Love to the whole family, and we'll catch up with you soon. Please be safe. Let us know when you've headed overseas and you're happy and you're safe. Keep us updated, and we'll chat to you during the race season. Thanks, dude. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on the show, guys. Have a good night, and I'll chat to you all soon.
Cheers, bud.
Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
To everyone, thank you for joining. Big thank you to Rad Moto KTM for making this possible, coming on as one of our sponsors. Thank you to Powered by Autocycle Center, who are the official importer of HJC, for giving us these signed masks to give away. I'll check out who did the share that I told you to do, and we'll announce winners on that. And yeah, just a big thank you to everyone for joining, everyone for the support for Motor Rider World. Make sure you subscribe to the digital magazine. Only 500 Rand for a 12-month subscription, please. Without your support, we cannot make these kind of things possible. I've got some really big plans for 2021. Going to be interviewing a lot of people in the MotoGP paddock, riders, team members. So I need your support to make that happen. So please email rob@motorriderworld.com and get signed up now. Would really appreciate it, and would help me bring you more exclusive interviews and exclusive tests like we've had featured here. Don, thank you so much. You can now get hold of Mr. Delivery and see if they're going to bring you.
I'm starving to death, you bastard.
I can see you are like just dying of starvation.
Listen, if anybody's got like an essential workers permit, okay, you know, and you can be out in 4 minutes after 9 o'clock lockdown, or if you don't mind getting arrested, bring me food. Uncle Rob wouldn't let me order food. He's such a bastard.
Sorry, man. It's a good way for me and you to both lose weight. Just talk to the
Yeah,
vendors.
you're going on a cycle next weekend. You're gonna die.
No, I'm powerful. I always refuse to lose. So
I want to see that video of you coming up a hill, red in the face, panting, sweating.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull out my phone, press record, go live on Facebook while I'm passing Darryn, Chef, and Brad up a hill. Okay.
You mean while they're on the side of the road, like waiting or something for like 4 hours?
You're supposed to be a friend and have my back. But,
I'm your friend. That's why I'm going to say you better go live. And I want to see, everybody, if you, I tell you what, if he doesn't go live, everyone must just cancel their subscriptions to Motor Rider World, okay?
Well,
I'm putting like corporate pressure on you here.
Until next time, I'll put this interview up on YouTube in case you missed the whole thing. You can watch it there. Watch out the bike show in the coming weeks here. Don had his interview with Brad and Darryn today, so look out for that and all the other amazing tests that he does. Look out on the Motor Rider World Facebook and YouTube platform for the interview I've got coming up with Johan Stigeveld. I've got Cam Peterson coming. I'm going to try and get hold of Maddie Scholz. I've got some other riders. So really, again, without your support, we can't make it happen. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your Thursday evening, and we'll catch up with some more Talking MotoGP hopefully in the next coming weeks, bring you up to date with everything that's happening. Don, thank you once again, and goodbye to everyone. Be safe. Please be safe. This is no joke out there at the moment, so stay safe. Goodbye until next time. Cheers.